I hate this camera because it's so quiet compared to the GoPro. So I gotta look at the reflection and see. Yes, I am recording. Hello. Zeospantera here. Z Reviews. And I'm looking at these two black blobs on the floor because they are the special limited edition linear power supplied premium Starkrimson 500 watt monoblocks. These are the top of the line that he makes, and I am doing an upcoming collab with him on a headphone amplifier, so keep an eye out for Valencia. That should be, well, depending on how things go with the case manufacturer, it could be summer. I'd like end of spring. But one of the nice things about working with someone like Leo from Orchard Audio is when he's like, hey, I just got another set of these in. If you want to look at them before I, do my other testing with them, if you want to do, yeah, I'm like, yeah, please. So, when you're testing, I've been doing Orchard Audio reviews for a while now. I've got his monoblocks here, mounted to the back of speakers. These are the old monoblocks. I haven't done his new monoblocks that are in like similar cases like that. But I did those, and then I did the Duo, and then I did, he had his previous top of the line was the Ultra, which was a single case, and that's an older Ultra that he's like, here, you know what? This one's outdated. Just keep it and use it for testing speakers. I'm like, great. And that one has dual power supplies, but they're older, smaller power supplies. They're like 250 watts a piece. Whatever. That's my standard, I listen to it, Starkrimson Ultra with the silver fascia. These are a marked, I don't like to say things like marked improvement, but oh my God, there's just this thing, and it makes me hate myself. Saying the words that are about to come out are the things that I fucking despise. And the reason I started this channel was, Echo, turn on Narberth fireplace. Okay, now we're ready. The things I despise is when, because the linear power supply option, he sells, before I say words, he sells. So the non-linear power supply are $2,500 each. So you're going to be getting a $5,000 set of amplifiers if you got the standard units. And the inside of that unit looks like this. And this is shocking to some of you who have been to audio shows. You see this? This is the board with the speaker taps. That's it. It's that big. It's tiny. In fact, if you opened up Valencia in the future, it's not even that much bigger, and this is producing a single channel, 250 watts into 8 ohms, 500 watts into 4 ohms, with like capacitors, and like, what the fuck's going on? And this is Class D, and the amplifier is Class AB, don't worry about it. But the power supply being used on the standard $5,000 a pair, non-premium, I guess you'd call them monoblocks, is, I think, Meanwell. I think he likes, actually, this is specifically built for Orchard Audio. There's the labels, but this is built by a company, and he has it checks out to his specs, and he runs it into his amp. It's very simple. Boom. If you upgrade, or you decide to get the premium $3,000 a piece, so instead of $5,000, you have $6,000 worth of blobs on the floor, you no longer get the pre-made power supply by a company that does a thing in the board. You get that exact same board and whomping great toroidal transformer and giant capacitors and then a little control box to control all the things. So you're going from, and this is, I guarantee you, a medical grade quality, fucking precise engineering marvel power supply to whomping. Orchard Audio has always been my baseline for amplifier performance. They've always been that. Because, I've always said this, it's because it doesn't sound like it's adding anything to my audio. I need that. I'm a guy who needs to listen to differences and all the sound, and this is up and those are more mid-range. And at some point, you get this like fetish. Not that. For just, you know what? I just want nothing. And the Platimons, these are, I wouldn't say top of the line because they're not top of the line, but they're like $6,000 Korean loudspeakers that roll around on tungsten balls. I finally got their stands, by the way, working. And what do those sound like? And the answer? Nothing. I sit down on the couch in my little speaker testing arena, and what I listen to is the music. But that's only half of the battle. Getting your speakers to be speakers that don't have any sort of real tonal shift, and I'm not talking about just neutral. There's neutral speakers, and they're usually boring. These are invisible speakers. Links to these in the description. Is that a fucking fingerprint? I'll kill you. There you go. By the way, this is actually just aluminum. They're not plastic. It's all aluminum. That's why they're so fucking expensive. But that was like a huge key to unlocking what I can actually sit and listen to on my days off. Just to like reset and not be like, okay, and now back to the grind of what do you sound like and what do you sound like and what do you sound like. But the half the battle was that, and the other half the battle was finding anything from Orchard Audio. Because Leo from Orchard Audio, in case you don't know, I tell the story like every time I do it, I talk about him or his company. He isn't an audiophile. I don't even know if he likes music. He listens to music and he has playlists, and I've been to his demo room when he used to have in New Jersey, and he does that. But the man is purely an engineer. And this is purely an engineering fucking study he's doing. And I couldn't think of a better person to make high-end amplifiers at affordable prices than him, because he doesn't have the magic rocks in the back of his head. He understands how electricity works. He designs the circuits as simply as possible. He adds no voicing or flavor to the sound, and he produces it, and it outputs, and you look at it and go, how? And it's not, you don't look at it and go, how? You listen to it and go, how? And so I have been treated for the last year and a half, 2 years, to having Orchard Audio in the back of my head. It's like, this is it. This is the sound out of these speakers, and there's nothing, and I could test DACs with it. Or if I'm just, every speaker that I pull out, like when I did that Thomas and stereo amplifier, that was a very warm amplifier. The reason I knew that was a warm amplifier is because I went A-B between that and that. And I know that is nothing. And I know that Thomas and stereo added something to the sound. And if you want to take these very neutral speakers and add something to the sound, you could do that through a DAC, which I'm currently using the Topping DX9 to feed this whole setup. Because you, despite your window being covered, are fucking amazing. I trust that. The Topping DX9, as much as people shit on Topping gear, you put that and these in a room as well treated as my basement room, and don't tell me it ain't treated. And it ain't just that, it's, 125 square feet of 8-inch insulation on the ceiling. But you put that on, and then you just play anything, and I could sell every part of this system to you. Leo not knowing, he understands the concepts that Audiophile is talking about. He's just against them. He doesn't want to charge billions of dollars for amplifiers made out of Korean lackwood that has to be engineered through you can't get it through the shipping channels, so cocaine importers have to get it. He just makes, it's a black box. It's very boring looking. If you're lucky, you have the light just right, and you could see his logo on the top of it, laser engraved. The front says nothing. There's no power light. There's no power switch. They just exist. They exist and do nothing. But, and this is the part I was trying to get to like 20 minutes ago, I've heard an actual musicality difference between, because technically, having him not change much in the design of his amplifiers and having no reason to make them sound different from one another, because it's all science, technically, in a perfect world, that older, cheaper unit should sound exactly the same as these newer, more expensive units. But it doesn't. Those do more. And I do have a subwoofer engaged with these, by the way, but I've got that tuned in for like everything, so it isn't just that. We could actually mute the topping if you want to hear what the sub is doing. That. There's like a buh. There's a buh. And that's all it's doing. It just sits back there, the big HSU sub. Link to the HSU sub in the description. Thank you for all using the links in the description. But there's, God, all right. I need longtime fans of Z reviews to just cover your ears right now, because Zeos is about to get really descriptive in ways that he does not want you to hear. These are the things that like Stereophile would say. It's nasty. I'm going to feel dirty. I'm going to take a shower off and just rub sand all over my body. It's going to be terrible. There's more depth and flavor to the profile of the midtones. I'm waiting for you to finish puking. You done puking? Cool. Yeah, every chance I've had to... God, the playlist is fucking on fire today. This is Badi Assad. Uma valsa y doris amores. What a power supply should do. What the amplifiers do is very simple. It takes a little signal and makes it big. And the amount it makes it bigger, aka like the amount of amplification from, small voltage in XLR to 250 watts at 8 ohms, is pretty linear and clean and measured. But the power supply, and you saw the two examples that sit out there, they're what provide the voltage that be fed into the thing to expand it and make it happen. So audiophiles go nuts for anything linear. Linear. And Leo was avoiding linear because he's like, he doesn't really need that because it's, doesn't really. But so many people asked for it that he finally went, fine, I'll barely charge you anymore, because $500 per unit for a toroidal transformer that makes that 25 pounds and that 25 pounds. I made the mistake of carrying them down both at the same time. And I'm like, why am I carrying 50 fucking... They feel like old school audiophile amps. Because did you see what there's a dinner plate sized toroidal in there. I actually should have got the inches from him because I don't want to take the case off is like 17 or 22 screws. You don't want to do it. But adding that much toroidal and those giant capacitors, all that means, really, technically, is that if the amplifier board, which is the little small thing, calls for more power for like, just say, hey, I need to make a speaker driver move fast, it has it there. But scientifically, from an engineering standpoint, the previous power supplies were doing that just fine. So why the fuck do I sit here as a Zeos, I don't give a shit about expensive things, and linear power supplies maybe do something or don't? Why do I hear an actual, I don't want to say the word tremendous because then it feels like I'm overselling it, but I'm kind of mad that these are not mine. Kind of mad. You got a free like $3,000 amp from a guy. You're doing anything like, here, just take this and use it for your reviews. Great. That isn't a bribe to do good reviews and his other stuff. That's the fucking benchmark. He handed me the line, and now he hands me another thing. It doesn't say anything else, but yeah, I got these things. Linear power supplies. I'm not really into it. Holy shit. And it's like this. Like, this isn't a power requirement. That's like some guy strumming on a fucking little guitar in the back of a thing. By the way, it's a David Chesky album, so. But it's like, that shouldn't sound better. There's no demand here. We're not running a fucking concert hall. So why am I sitting here listening to black boxes on the floor? Which, I think you can get these in silver. I'm not, no, you know what? Don't. I just want them to make them, like, these need like a $4,000 wrap. Just get $100 bills and just spray glue and stick $100 bills all over it. And then it'll be, that's some pimp ass money. Gold plated. Fill in the Orchard Audio logo on top with melted fucking 14 karat gold. That'll be like $7-8 grand at least. 10 grand? Perfect. Charge $17,000 for it. An extra $1,000 for labor. Because then people would actually pay attention. If you put these in a room with any of those PS Audio people or any of those fucking amplifiers that like you like your head explodes by how expensive they are and what the complex fucking interiors look like. The interior, this is like little board, big fucking toroidal, some caps in the corner, and the little control board, and you're done. It's not pretty, except if you're an engineer that understands what simplicity is beauty. But then I have to sit here and try to convince you that I'm not being biased right now when I shuffle. Okay, that's Powerman 5000, which technically isn't an audiophile test track. But that sound we just heard, that came from right here. Right here. It was floating there. And that's partially to do how amazing these fucking speakers are at imaging and why they're straight apart and parallel. But it's all that shit that I don't think measurements can do. I'm not against measurements. I'm against people making purchase decisions of headphones and speakers because of measurements, because they don't tell you nearly anything about the thing. But when it comes to like amplifiers and DACs and power cables and speaker cables, by the way, RI Italian speaker cables in use right now, so maybe that's what's doing it. But I have all these other components. Measure the shit out of those, because a speaker cable should just be nothing, and a DAC technically should be nothing, but also have the timing right and all the little fuckery that I can actually tell a difference between them now. But there isn't like so much. You need like $5,000 in DAC. That's too much. But like, I don't know if measurements would do any of what I'm hearing justice, because it's just coming out with this, like, I don't know, this, oh fuck. It's like I'm having a quiet conversation with Christopher Walken, and then Christopher Walken gets upset about a comment I make. And he doesn't make an upset face. You know Christopher Walken. If you're not watching Severance, I haven't seen him yet in season 2, but I'm sure he's going to show up. That man could play the nicest old man or the fucking emperor in Dune. All right? And imagine if you insulted him accidentally. He would just gently look down at his tea, pick it up, and then his eyes would change. And you would just be in this paralyzed version of fear that you've never felt before. Like Anthony Hopkins in fucking Westworld season 1. That just like overwhelming presence of like, oh fuck. That's what these are now doing. That's what somehow these are doing. And if that isn't the most romanticized fucking thing an amplifier has ever done, I don't know what to tell you. It's like it's being pushed through bigger holes. All right? And I'm not an electrical engineer. I never wanted to be an electrical engineer. And frankly, I don't even understand half the goddamn terms when people who are electrical engineers are speaking to each other. It's like I've walked into a Klingon meeting. But somehow completely overpowered, linear power supplied Orchard Audio amplifiers are the shizniggity. They're just the bomb diggity done doodly. They're just everything I could ever want out of the highest end fucking thing on earth. And every time I hit next track, an actually epic score can actually be played. I wish I knew these tracks better. Oh! There's a weight. And there's probably a 15 to 20% chance, knowing who I am and how my brain works, that just knowing how heavy these are has changed my perception of them. Sound expectation bias is absolutely a thing. If you think you're getting a piece of shit, no matter how good it sounds, it'll probably sound like a piece of shit to you. That's how our brains work. Isn't that fucked up? And I expect these to be good. Coming from a company that I know, a man that I trust, and I know that they have this crazy heavy-duty look. So I sit here and I listen, and I try to ignore it the best I can. Whether that's through drugs and alcohol or just watching anime or something. But every time I've sat in front of these amplifiers for the last 2 weeks and hit play or next track or give me another one, I still have a soul. Let's try that one. That's a good one. Every time I play something, it's just like, it sounds different. It doesn't sound like the Silver Amp. Why doesn't it sound like the Silver Amp? Why doesn't the Silver Amp sound as good as these amps? Why? Because it's more money? Because it's a newer version? It's got a giant fucking power supplies? What's the reason? And I don't know the reason. It's just good. And I don't know, many of you are going to watch this and be like, hey, I need to spend $6,000 today, Zeos. Thanks for sorting this out. But if you are, or if you know anyone who is, find these at a show. Florida Audio Expo will have them. Axpona will have them. Munich will not have them. He doesn't have a presence in Europe. And I know they'll work there because the power supply works like from 95 to 265 volts, I think. At least that's what Valencia did. These are silly good amplifiers, and it makes me mad. Furious that every amplifier I've ever heard in my entire life doesn't sound like those to begin with. Wait, it's gonna end. Epic Score isn't even well recorded. This is just music you get for free that you can add into games. And it sounds amazing. I would say let's look at the unit, but I mean... prepare to be very disappointed by, stuff. On the floor we go. So, box, angled front, many screws. I will tell you that little bits of stuff will get caught in this, and the fact that it's on top, so maybe filling it with gold wouldn't be a terrible idea. The back. Are you ready? XLR input. Big, fancy speaker terminals. Power plug, and not just an on-off switch. This is a circuit breaker on-off switch, because you have to push it in like a motherfucker. It's like, click. So if anything goes wrong, she will breaker the circuit, which is the on-off switch. The end. Does it actually say the voltage? Hold on. Warning, read instructions first before powering up, down. This doesn't specify the voltage in the back, so you may have to check to make sure it'll work with 220. Because I don't want to verify that you can do it. The website will have it. I'll link to the website below. My cat sits on that amplifier, by the way. I don't know why. It ain't warm. It's freezing cold. It's currently off, but I mean... Yeah, these are the amplifiers to end amplifiers. And at 250 watts into 8 ohms, which isn't like, oh my god, world-ending power. And 500 watts at 4 ohms, which means most like 6 ohm speakers. I don't know if you're 6 ohm. Getting a 300 watt. That's enough. You have to be a very special needs boy or girl to need more than that to run a pair of speakers. And if you didn't care about like maximum throughput and you just wanted the absolute best quality, I lay my head before you and say, yes, this is it. This is that thing. Does it need an LED? No. Would it be nice if there was one right here on the bottom just shining onto the ground? Other companies have done that. Yeah, sure. Why not? Some white LEDs underneath it like an alien spacecraft. Or nothing. The other option is just do fucking nothing and do no fucking flash and just have people listen to it and break their brain like I broke mine. That's it. That's how we're going to go about this. So yeah, I'm kind of sad I've got to pack these back up. But at least I know that if I ever do need to borrow another set, I could trust in patrons like you, who are probably watching this, to loan me one, right? Right? Oh! It's like it's made the speakers excited, but still doing the speaker magic that they do. They haven't changed. It hasn't changed the soul of the listening experience. It's just changed the weight of it. In excess. Ooh, Robert Daltrey. There you go. Don't let the sun go down. Wait, he did the Lost Boys soundtrack? Hold on, this is so 80s. So 80s. I don't don't think I've ever listened to this entire song. How have I had the Lost Boys soundtrack for this long and I've never heard a Roger Daltrey song from it? Probably because it's not very good. Oh, my science and mother of mercy. That's the Great Pretender soundtrack, non-basic. So if you ever haven't seen the anime Great Pretender, I think it's on Netflix. And this soundtrack's apparently in it. That is in the track. All right, that's, you know what? Give me where's my mouse? That's going directly into the speaker testing playlist. Because what the hell is that? You know what? I've listened to the Great Pretender OST when I first got it. And I don't remember what headphones I listened to it on or what speakers I listened to it on. And I was like, all right, this is interesting. Why is every track now that I play start for the first 3 seconds with like, that's a test track? All the way there, no slowing down. That's a test track. Wait. This might be a little bit too quiet. Wait, let's get to this part. Honestly, not that well recorded, and I could tell. Better. Anyway, so if you're interested in $6,000 pairs of speakers that are the pairs of amplifiers to run your speakers, actually now, this is very happy for my Synergy, because these pairs of speakers without the stands are $6,000 MSRP, and these amplifiers are $6,000 MSRP. So that makes me happy. Not because it's expensive, but because the numbers are the same. Keep in mind, you don't have to do any of this shit. If you're not intended, like you could watch this video and be like, oh man, I hope in the future. You should always hope in the future to do like the best thing ever. But for the love of God, be happy with your OS 10s. Or be happy with your Mic RB42s. Or be happy with your Clip 600 Mark IIs. The most important thing in my job is to make sure you're fucking happy. And if you're not happy and you're coming here to try to find happiness, it's not in these black boxes on the floor. It's never going to be on the black box on the floor. It's in you. It's been in you all along. So go drink some coffee, find some new music, and listen to the old stuff you've got already. Which is what I'm going to fucking do when I hook that back up. And I'm just like, that's about 94% as good as it was. It's fine. It's fine. It's going to be fine. Live, die, repeat. End titles. Measure tomorrow. All right, I'm done. Links to Orchard Audio for those. Links to RI cables for those. Links to Monacoustics for those. Links to topping for that. And link to that wallpaper in the wallpaper hoard. If you don't have it, it's 3 gigs of every wallpaper I've ever used, ever, in full resolution, synced to your computer as I use them. So that's fun. Don't forget to check out my second channel, where if there's really long extended videos or reviews, I will put them there, so that I can keep the ones in the main channel here shorter. So check out second channel. There's also my collabs link tree in the description if you want to see everything I've ever collabed ever, including the upcoming Orchard Audio amplifier. We're going to get good pictures taken of it soon, hopefully, if they don't fuck us with these cases. I hate. The amplifier parts themselves are usually made in America, but the cases, those come from China, and it's fucking annoying having to work with them directly. My God. It's mimics and alphas. Again, still Edge of Tomorrow. Anyway, I'm done. Patreon subscribe star. $5 a month, see reviews early. Participate in yard sales. Lots of sound demos. $5 Q&A where I answer your questions and you can see your answers publicly. Or $10 a month for private behind-the-scenes Patreon chat, which know all about how fucking amazing these amps are. And if they're not, I'm fucking telling them today. Along with a lifetime swap meet channel. So if you're in the $10 chat, even for 3 minutes, you get into the swap meet channel where you can buy, sell, and trade gear. You could leave, never talk to me or any of my fucking patrons again, fuck off and just sell things. It's kind of nice. And if you want to support me any other ways, feel free to look at my future coming up merch. I'm embedding it in the thing now because it's eventually going to be merch in the future. And I'm not talking about shitty merch. I'm talking about quality. Like, I've got this weird fetish now for like nice things. I don't know what cost me to have that. And I want all my merch to like blow you away with how nice it is. I want you to wear that shit to weddings. So yeah, I'm done. You're done. We're done. These are done. And I'll see you all in the next one. Can I get some French people speaking?
Pour que les œufs fassent des poules.
Thank you.